Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for October 10th. October 10th is the 283rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 284th in leap years, with 82 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is the longest word in the English language that we know of, and it is pneumonultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis. It has more syllables than supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Now let me just pause here for a moment to say that if you ever have trouble figuring out how to pronounce a word, if you can find it in Wikipedia or Wiktionary, those will often, not always, but they'll often have a little play button where you can hear it pronounced. If that doesn't work, type the word into your internet search bar, and it's very likely that someone will have made a how to pronounce video about it. I like YouTube Julian's pronunciations. They're quite helpful, and there are a couple of others on YouTube that do pronunciation videos. Back to pneumonultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis, though. It's 45 letters long and is described as a made-up word to describe an illness resulting from lung damage due to inhaling very fine ash, like volcanic ash or sand dust. Some debate follows as to whether this is a real thing or not, but I could tell you silicosis is for sure a real thing. It can cause inflammation and scarring of the lungs, and you don't want silicosis. Silicosis is also known as pneumoconiosis or black lung. Pneumonultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis is a veritable quilt of word parts from Greek and Latin. Pneumono is from ancient Greek and means lungs. Ultra is from Latin and it means beyond. Micro and scopic come from ancient Greek, which mean small looking, referring to the fineness of the particulates. Silico comes from Latin and means silicon. Volcano comes from Latin and means volcano. Connie comes from ancient Greek and means dust, and osis also from ancient Greek, and it's a suffix that indicates a medical condition. Pneumonultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis was coined in 1935, not by a doctor or a medical research team, but by a man named Everett M. Smith, who was at the time the president of the National Puzzlers League. National Puzzlers League is a non-profit organization that still exists. It's focused on puzzling, particularly as regards to wordplay and word games. National Publishers League, by the way, was founded way back in 1883. I understand they still meet annually for a convention somewhere in the world, usually in July, and usually in a large North American city. I did find a website for them and have linked that in the description, so check that out if you want to, and be sure to wear your personal protective equipment if you're going to be around any fine particulate matter that might irritate your lungs. We don't want you getting pneumonultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis. Goodness, that was probably about half the usual showtime right there, but we are going to tap a few historical items too, because that's what we do. And so with that, this is the birthday of a fellow named Henry Cavendish, born October 10th, 1731. He was an experimental and theoretical chemist and physicist and discovered hydrogen, which he referred to as inflammable air. He also calculated the density of the Earth, an experiment which has come to be known as the Cavendish experiment, and he lived to the age of 78. The United States Naval Academy opened in Annapolis, Maryland on October 10, 1845, with an enrollment of 50 students. Triton, the largest moon of the planet Neptune, was discovered on October 10, 1846 by English astronomer William Lassell. The Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty came into effect on October 10, 1963. And just 4 years later, the Outer Space Treaty came into force on October 10, 1967. Some of the main points of this treaty were prohibition of placing nuclear weapons in space, limiting the use of moon and all other celestial bodies to peaceful purposes only, and establishing that space shall be free for exploration and use by all nations, and that no nation may claim sovereignty of outer space or any celestial body. The Outer Space Treaty did not ban military activities within space, military space forces, or the weaponization of space, with the exception of placement of weapons of mass destruction in space. It's mostly a non-armament treaty offering limited and ambiguous regulations to newer space activities, such as lunar and asteroid mining. Today's song is Cracklin Rosie by Neil Diamond. It hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on October 10, 1970. It was written by Neil Diamond, and by the way, the backing music was performed by the Wrecking Crew, a loose collective of session musicians based in Los Angeles. They played more or less anonymously for so many singers in the 1960s and 70s, but today we're talking about Cracklin Rosie, with its catchy tune, good musical arrangement and orchestration, and Neil Diamond's velvet voice. Cracklin Rosie may or may not be about an actual woman, an archetype, or a brand of wine. We're not sure. Stories abound. But it is an entertaining song, his first number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, and his third million-selling single. Cracklin Rosie, number 1, October 10th, 1970. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.